and gentlemen, welcome to another fragrance review on the Robezoid channel. I'm your host Mark, the fragrance guru, and today I'm going to be tackling a house that's very much swept under the rug, the house of Kenzo, guys. This designer house, always, dare I say, underrated. I just feel like Kenzo always comes proper. They're always solid fragrances. If you go on my channel and you search Kenzo fragrances, they're always solid. They're not that mainstream, dare I say, in the designer game. You know, the mainstream houses, Mugler, you know, Dolce & Gabbana, Gucci, they got all the freaking spotlight. And Kenzo's basically back there as a fragrance house, and nobody really talks about them. But they've been releasing fragrances very solidly for the past few years. So this particular fragrance right here, called Kenzo Air. Kenzo Air, unfortunately, discontinued fragrance from the house of Kenzo, but I feel like one that should be tackled in this fragrance community, because it does have a small cult following on fragrance sites online like Base Notes, Fragrantica, etc., etc. There is a lot of bloggers out there that absolutely love this fragrance. They want you to sniff out this fragrance, and I'd like to give you guys my 2 cents on this particular fragrance, see if it's good enough for you guys to go out and blind buy this sucker, because that's probably the only way that you're going to get your hands on it. So let's go. Kenzo Air. Kenzo Air was released back in 2003. The nose behind this fragrance is one of many reasons why I purchased Kenzo Air. I actually blind bought Kenzo Air off the perfumier's name. I do this. I have a lot of a few perfumiers out there that I really need to sniff their fragrances, just because their resume is impeccable. This guy, Maurice Roussel, I'm sure a lot of you know, is the nose behind this fragrance, and I had to sniff it. I blind bought it, and this is his take on vetiver. I really wanted to see, because in the reviews it said it was a anise and vetiver based scent, and I really wanted to see what Roussel was going to do with those two notes. So let's stay tuned, guys, and I'm going to dissect this fragrance a little later. So let's take a look at bottle sizes, pricing, flankers, and all that good stuff. There's package in multiple bottle sizes. You can find it for a 1 ounce, a 1.7, 2.5, and then they cheap us out for the big boy. Usually big boys are 3.4 fluid ounces. As you can see here, my big boy here is 90 mils, 3 fluid ounces, whereas my 0.4. But anyway, just a little tip with these bottles, guys. This bottle, if you buy it in a different concentration, let's say a 2.5 or a 1.7 ounce, your bottle's going to look exactly like mine, same size. Just because, why? This is a 2-part bottle. You can see here, plastic, even the atomizer is it's plastic here, and then it's covered by glass. See, that's glass. So what happens with the 1.7 ounce, this is a little trick that I learned, just if you buy like one that's 1.7 and you see that it's filled up right up to here, and you're like, hey, wait a minute, my bottle is just halfway full. No, it's the same packaging. They just give a 1.7 ounce, and it just fills up on the midline, and then the 90 mils kind of filled up a little bit more. So just a little trick of the trade there, just to help out a few fragrance heads out there if you're buying a smaller bottle of this stuff. Concentration is eau de toilette. Pricing, Kenzo Air, as all discontinued fragrances, they always have this little jump of the needle. They go down and then they go up in pricing, and then you never see it again as far as affordable. Kenzo Air, very affordable 5 years ago. Still is, but at the same time, prices have started to inflate online, just because stock is starting to get low online. So it's still affordable. You're looking at around $60 to $120 American to purchase this fragrance. So it's starting to inflate. If you're interested in this fragrance, probably best to buy it now, because 5 years later on, this one is going to be a jewel for me. I'm going to sell it on eBay for $250, and I'm going to get it. I'm just kidding. But yeah, with discontinued fragrances, you got to jump on them right away. Flankers. Kenzo Air does have a flanker, basically Kenzo Air Intense. I actually don't own Kenzo Air Intense, but I hear they are fairly the same. There's a little difference here and there. So let's take a look at the bottle and the box. Now the box itself, as you can see very much what the theme of this fragrance is. It's basically looking at the sky. It's supposed to be a very airy fragrance. It's supposed to be, that's what it's supposed to look like. And as you can see here from the box, that's what it says. Kenzo Eau de Toilette, Kenzo Air. Again, it'll say Intense on the Intense version if you're interested in that version too. On the sides, not much. Kenzo Air here at the top, there's not much here. In the back, not much. And at the bottom, you got your code and a whole bunch of other stuff. So let's take a look at the bottle itself. Kind of funky looking bottle, I'll give it that. It's basically what they say in their little typo Kenzo there. They're saying that this is you looking at the sky through a window, I guess. So, like I said, it says Kenzo right here embossed. I can feel it. There's like little nudges here. There's your atomizer to spray it. Atomizer comes out of this glass portion here. So glass starts here. As you can see, the plastic stops here, and then there's your glass, and then there's a sticker at the bottom here giving your information. Let's take a spray of this. Let's see how it looks. You can hardly see it. Look at that. That thing's like a little laser. Not one of the best in the game. So let's get into sniffing out Kenzo Air. Now let's delve into the notes. Let's go split screen. Let's take a look at the notes. As you can see beside me here, not much going on with Kenzo Air. So let's take a look at the top notes. In the top we got anise and bergamot. In the middle we got vetiver. In the base we got amber. Major notes to my nose. This is a vetiver and anise based fragrance. So I'm expecting a lot of anise in the top, you know, that black licorice, and then I'm obviously expecting some kind of vetiver note, and I'm really interested in seeing what kind of vetiver I'm going to get from this fragrance group. You see woody floral musk, and how many sprays and where? I go 1 on the chest, bam, 2 on the neck, 3 sprays, and I am set. Let's sniff out Kenzo Air. Now welcome to the meat and potatoes of my fragrance reviews. This is when I sniff out the fragrance and tell you what it smells like from top to bottom. So the top, oh man, if you like black licorice, you're gonna like this. Man, it's so vivid, it's so punching. The top of Kenzo Air is very vivid. It's very well constructed, I can tell from the top. If you love black licorice in a scent, and you kind of want that anise kick, you're gonna get a beautiful, authentic anise note right from the top in Kenzo Air. You do. It's big, it's punching, it's vivid. God, it's right in your face. It's big, it's punching, I love it. This note is back slightly with the bergamot. There's a little bit of freshness, a little glimmer of freshness to the introduction of this scent. The vetiver starts showing its spots early in the scent and will be stronger as time goes by. So in the introduction, you're getting a little bit of freshness from the bergamot. It's full-fledged black licorice in your face. That's all you're getting. It's very beautiful, it's very authentic, it's really, really well done. And the vetiver starts meshing. It starts going, and it's going to get stronger as time goes by. This introduction shows many facets of Kenzo Air, and the last thing on my mind is something airy here, and this is going through the imagery and what marketing has done with Kenzo Air. The last thing on my mind, this is not airy, this is not light and fluffy. This is, what this gives me, it has this black, of course, from the black licorice, black and green vibe going on. Of course, vetiver and anise, what do you expect, right? It's not an airy fragrance. Again, this is probably bad marketing for them. I'm not getting that. Some people do, so I'll give them their just due. Some fragrance reviewers do think that this is a very light and airy fragrance, and it kind of reminds them of the name and the packaging. Me, none. It doesn't. Don't get me wrong here. It's a light fragrance. The anise, once it gets big and punching, it starts scaling back. Vetiver is not very much. When I say earthy, it's very light. This is not your Encre Noirs of the world, the Sycamores of the world. It's not big and punching. It's not going to be for winter. It is fairly light, but it's not airy. It's not fluffy. You know, when I'm thinking of clouds and blue sky, I'm thinking maybe something, you know, watery or something citrusy or something very light on my skin. This is not what it is. It's green. It's a little sweet. It's earthy, Very dry scent, to be honest. It has a good amount of woods back in the scent too in the introduction. Almost kind of sneaking into it. You almost don't catch it in your first couple wearings. It's obviously the magic of ISO E Super kind of get dropped in there, making me think of a soft cedar backbone. That's what Kenzo Air has, again with the vetiver and the bergamot, a little pinch of bergamot, and the anise note. Now, let's get into the dry down of Kenzo Air. In the dry down, the star of the show is the vetiver. The licorice tries to keep pace, but it's dying a slow death on your skin, and it goes from being the central note in the opening to just a complementary one in the dry down. The vetiver itself isn't big or punching, but it's actually fairly soft. It has a cleaner look to it. It comes to mind as the vetiver, trying to compare the vetiver in this fragrance to another fragrance. It came to mind, Paul Smith's Story came to mind for kind of like a vetiver for the warmer months. The Haitian vetiver in transparent woods, from what my nose detects, almost kind of given a black peppery kick and musk, provide a simple yet solid ending to the scent. So there's not much going on. I know there was amber in the notes. I didn't get much of that. It was more musky. It had a little bit of a peppery kick. A little bit of that soft cedar going in. The vetiver is obviously in the forefront here in the dry down. Very simple scent, very good balance to the scent, very well composed, and I can see why a lot of people are going to love this particular fragrance. For me, Kenzo Air didn't really wow me, but it was very interesting as a fragrance head. Let's get into my final take on Kenzo Air. Now, the recommended age for Kenzo Air, I would go with 20 and up. I really don't think, as far as a discontinued fragrance, teenagers, forget about it. But if you're getting into fragrances, you like vetiver, you want a nice black licorice introduction to a vetiver-based scent, this one's straight up for you. Bottles, what does it remind me of? Again, I already named Paul Smith's Story. Kenzo Air Intense, of course, smells like this. It has a nice cumin kick to it, so it's a little more daring. Lolita Lempica Au Masculin. When you're talking black licorice, you gotta talk about Au Masculin. And it has Encre Noire. It's not in the Encre Noire territory. Do not get that from me. But if you like Encre Noire, you might like this. It's almost like an Encre Noire meets Paul Smith's Story meets Lolita Lempica Au Masculin. They mashed it up. It's not as daring as Encre Noire, and you get this. Awards. Has it been in any of my top 20 lists? No. Best time to wear this fragrance? I really think Kenzo Air is made for daily use. Really a casual based scent. That's really what I look for. That's when I really enjoyed wearing this one. Casually, daily wear. Seasons. Again, a lot of people online are saying this is a summer based, vetiver based scent. It doesn't have that much depth to it to be a winter based scent. But again, I really liked it more in the fall and spring. Here in the Canadian spring and falls more than summer. I really don't like black licorice, heavy black licorice in the introduction. And the vetiver has to be paired with something a little fresher to me than the notes that are in Kenzo Air. So I like spring and fall with this one. Compliment factor with Kenzo Air. Compliment factor ain't there, guys. It was fairly low. There's nothing really to report as far as I didn't sell any bottles of this stuff when I was wearing it. Compliments, hardly. I had to go fishing, things like that. Really low on the scale as far as compliment factor goes. Now let's talk a little bit more about Kenzo Air, or what I personally feel about it. Black licorice meets vetiver. Yes, it's a simple, straightforward scent. Why would you love this fragrance? Well, anise lovers, you like that black licorice, you're gonna like this. Vetiver lovers, hey, if you're in that category, anise and vetiver lover, it's a win-win. Composition of this fragrance, bang on. It's a Roussel composition, and I expect that from them, and the composition is bang on. Why would you hate this fragrance? Very much linear, there's not much going on. Black licorice punch, vetiver ending, pretty much that sums it up. Too subtle, yes. This one, I had times that nobody could smell me on this fragrance. It didn't matter how many sprays I could have bathed in this fragrance. It didn't matter, it was too subtle. It died on my skin, very weak on my skin. And again, a reason why not to search out for it. It's discontinued, it's hard to find. You're gonna have to go online and you might have to just blind buy it. So for me, that's a, especially with a few things on this particular fragrance that I didn't like, Again, being too subtle, very weak on my skin. So let's go into my rating system. Let's go. Split screen. As you can see, not a very good score here. Projection, 4 bottles out of 10. I had a really hard time with Kenzo Air to just jump off my skin. I wore it in every season possible. You guys know me, I test, projection, just wasn't there. Longevity, same thing, 4 bottles out of 10. Man, I couldn't get past the 5-hour mark on most wearings. It was 3 to 5 hours. That is very, very weak for me. 4 bottles out of 10. Versatility, I'm gonna give it middle of the road, 5 bottles out of 10. It is fairly versatile, but at the same time, Smell, 7 bottles out of 10. I really think that's the best factor in this fragrance. It does smell good, especially if you're looking for these particular notes in a fragrance. Well done, well balanced, well constructed, high quality, really well done. Overall, I'm gonna give Kenzo Air a very score of 5 bottles out of 10, and that goes for a discontinued fragrance. That's basically a not recommend, just because it all depends on your taste, obviously, but for me, Kenzo Air just came out flat. And that goes to Buy, Try, or Pass. Kenzo Air goes, and it's gonna get the pass treatment from Robes 08. I think Kenzo Air, if you're looking for vetiver, there's better out there. Anise, go for Lolita Lempiga if you wish. I truly felt that Air did exactly as the name suggests. It was too transparent on my skin, too soft. It just didn't push itself. It never really made an impact on me when I was testing this fragrance. It just felt like, oh, it's another Kenzo Air day, blah, blah, blah. I enjoyed wearing this fragrance, and I truly see some value to it, and I see why others would really enjoy this. But now that it's discontinued, I'd say it's not worth seeking out. It just isn't. So guys, hopefully you enjoyed this review. I know a lot of lovers of this fragrance, they're gonna bash the shit out of me in the comments. Go ahead. I'm being honest. That's all I can do, right? Please comment below if you have smelled Kenzo Air, you've owned a bottle, you've sold the bottle, blah, 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 all that stuff. I'd love to hear your comments below if you smelt it. Thanks for watching, YouTube.